Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David, and today I will be presenting the erasure of Black women. An overview. We will be going over what erasure is, why it matters, and what can we do next to prevent it. Brief overview. Erasure refers to the intentional suppression or distortion of a person or group of people throughout history. This can refer to races, different ethnic identities, and things of that nature. And some examples of erasure are Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut was an Egyptian pharaoh. She was one of the greatest Egyptian pharaohs, but because she was a woman, she almost was erased out of history. The people there actually defaced her and almost literally erased her out of history. So had they not stopped, we would not know about Hatshepsut and her legacy. Another example that I chose was Aren't I a Woman? Basically, this was the Aren't I a Woman speech made originally by, it was an original speech by somebody else. However, in the Aren't I a Woman speech, it was written by a white woman, and they dumbed down the language to make it seem more appropriate or akin to what a black slave would write at the time. And then another example of erasure that I put was Christopher Columbus, quote unquote, finding America, when that's clearly not the case since the natives were here originally on the land. So, why does erasure matter? I chose to specifically talk about Black women because of this Malcolm X quote. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. Throughout history, Black women have been consistently disregarded or undermined, whether that was through the feminist rights movement or the civil rights movement. Black women have always had to fight for their place in society and in spaces that they should be able to call their own. Like I said, feminism refers to the advocacy of women's rights, ultimately leading for the rights of both genders. However, you can't do that if you're going to exclude certain groups of people, specifically women. So because of this, there are two subsets of feminism. There's, for Black women, there's womanism and there's Black feminism. Now they're more or less the same, however there's some slight differences. Womanism is a subset of feminism that focuses on Black women's struggle and feminism. However, it originates from the Southern Black expression of you ain't acting womanish, and then it is also more aligned with Black nationalism. Now, Black feminism is also a subset of feminism that highlights the experience of Black women in America. Well, it's more of a national movement, but they do align with each other. More examples of erasure. I'll be talking about modern erasure. Some examples that stood out to me were gentrification and stereotypes. Gentrification refers to richer people moving into poorer neighborhoods, thus resulting in higher costs of living for people living in those neighborhoods and businesses. Stereotypes are oversimplified beliefs or images of groups of people. So, some examples of this, I'll be focusing on the stereotypes. I decided to focus on the Mammy, the Jezebel, and the SBW. The Mammy stereotype is an enslaved Black woman that takes care of children, often nursing them and tending to them. The Mammy archetype isn't always specifically held to this slave portrayal, however, it still takes form in modern day. An example of this is Aunt Jemima on the pancake box, but since to be politically correct, it changed it to Pearl Milling Company. Another example would be the Jezebel. Attractive, promiscuous woman that's sexually aggressive and promiscuous. This is a problem with Black women specifically because the The black woman's body has been objectified and sexualized throughout time through history, whether that was through slavery or in a more modern era. Now the SBW is a more modern stereotype, which is more positive, and this portrays black women as leads that are devoted to her and her community. While it is good that we have a more positive representation of black women, it can still lead to their detriment, as it's only portraying them as they are sort of related to the man. They're stuck to their community and they don't have any individuality outside of that. So what can we do now to prevent modern day erasure? Call it out. There's definitely examples that I said earlier. If you see gentrification happening, call that shit out and expose yourself to different types of media. It's okay to see somebody's different viewpoint and not agree with it. And it's okay to have discourse and be like, hey, that's not right. But yeah, this is my little TED talk.